On Friday the 13th, in March, we found out that we were going to be sending our students home. And at that point, we were all going to be learning somehow, some way, remotely. So we had to kind of rethink what instruction was going to look like.
Last year, when we were told that schools were shutting down, it was such a shock to our system, and we were still scrambling, just what are we supposed to do?
COVID-19, it catapulted all of us, and it entangled all of us into an eerie and a very confusing labyrinth.
We were scrambling as far as how to do this. I mean, teachers and students alike were learning so many new technologies, just instruction via Google Meet, Zoom.
We really couldn't, quote unquote, teach new instruction, but we wanted to keep them where they were at least so that they could keep building. And the only thing that I had that was, really great and supportive for me at that time was Reading Horizons. And once I sort of got over that initial shock, I was like, wait a minute, Reading Horizons is really simple. I mean, if you get right down to it, it's very simple. We can do this. Nothing was simple at that time. It's still not simple, especially if you're teaching remote. But for the program itself, just the framework is simple. And if you follow it, it makes the teaching part on remote so much easier.
It's one of the things that we teach that can be done best via a virtual meeting. I see my kids on there, and I can review with them. I can teach them a lesson, and then when I do the dictation, they have their boards and they can turn it around and hold it up.
But on top of that, the Reading Horizons team made sure that we had more resources than we could ever imagine that were free. To start with, we started having PowerPoints that we could download to aid in instruction for virtual learning. Then teachers actually teaching lessons. So for instance, if there was a remote student that missed a lesson, they could share a link to see a Reading Horizons specialist actually provide that lesson of instruction so that they weren't missing a beat with the learning that needed to take place. This year we have a cohort A, which meets Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is considered a fully remote day for all learners. And then Thursday and Friday is our cohort B students. So there's been a lot of opportunities for us to make sure we're reaching all families with our instruction. So Reading Horizons has helped us to do that well.
I've really enjoyed having the Reading Horizons, and I think it's so important. So that's our main thing that we do during our Zoom classes. I mean, that's so easy for a teacher to pull that up, do the preview content. It presents the lesson in an engaging way. You can do your dictation where kids are moving, the writing on the marker boards during dictation, that keeps them engaged also.
The fact that there's an online component and an in-person component, that helps a lot because it kind of helps hold students accountable. Of course, the 2 days that they're with us, but then the 3 days that they're at home, there's still a piece for them to get just as good quality instruction. The fact that my instruction, virtual or otherwise, can then be followed up with software that goes directly with that instruction is huge.
We have had a lot of days of burdens and heavy hearts, but we have had so much success in being able to work with our families because of companies like Reading Horizons that have worked to make sure that all needs that we have as teachers and at a district level were in place.